Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you. The Morning Majority, 630.
WMAL.
8:07 on WMAL. Brian Neiman, Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Wilson is off today. We got Brett Baer from the Fox News Channel joining us about a half hour from now. We'll get his take on how the debate went last week and big straw poll this weekend in Iowa. Larry Kudlow on the show tomorrow. Also, Jake Tapper will be here, and Christine O'Donnell on the program. All coming up on tomorrow's show. We're joined now by Gretchen Morgenson, Pulitzer Prize-winning author of the New York Times and co-author of the book Reckless Endangerment: How Outsized Ambition, Greed, and Corruption Led to Economic Armageddon. Good morning, Gretchen.
Good morning.
Your book focuses a lot on Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. The Obama administration, I guess last week, put out, what was it, a request for
a request for suggestions about how best to go about renting out the properties they own as a result of Fannie and Freddie foreclosures.
Is this a process that has been in place for some time? Is this a new idea for the government to rent out these homes that are owned by Fannie and Freddie now?
I think it's a new idea. It's one of these things where you really have to say they're just throwing up their hands,
right,
because they don't know what to do with all of these properties. The foreclosure mess has just gone on so much longer than anyone thought. You know, it's striking because I think it's just another example of how little the government has been able to do for homeowners, you know, even as they've poured money into the big banks who really helped create this problem. But, you know, it's something that I guess you have to give them credit for saying, look, we need help, and we are going to analyze all ideas that come our way. They've got to do something. There's no doubt about it. This overhang of properties is very devastating to people who remain in their homes and their neighborhoods go down in value.
Yeah, what is the status of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac right now? I mean, where does it stand financially? How can they stay afloat, and where do you see it going in the next couple of years?
You know, it's the big question, and it's such a hot political potato that so many people don't want to deal with it. It's $150 billion that the taxpayers have extended to the companies at this moment. We don't know what the final tally will be. We do know that it is, you know, and they have an unlimited access to the Treasury. They obviously were at the heart of the, financial crisis and the mortgage meltdown, and now we're paying the price. As far as what will happen to them, you know, really, it's very difficult to predict. You have one side of the aisle saying that we absolutely need government involvement in the home financing business, and then you have another group of people who say, look, it works well elsewhere without government involvement, and by the way, look what government involvement got us. It got us a $150 billion tab for the taxpayers. What I think we need to do, honestly, is have a discussion, a real, honest dialogue about what government's role in housing should be. If you want to subsidize housing, don't do it through these private, quasi-public enterprises that allow the insiders to enrich themselves while they're providing this home finance assistance to borrowers. It really didn't work. It was a big flop. So let's not do that again.
Well, and you talk about how the government has been able to do very little with all these foreclosed homes and figure out how to fix this. One of the things the HAMP program, the Home Affordable Modification Program, that was supposed to help with that and sort of help people not to foreclose, by all accounts has not worked very well at all. What is the status of that? Are they rethinking how they're doing that, trying other approaches?
I think that's been a dismal failure, and it was badly designed from the outset. And one of the key and crucial failures in the design was that the government never really forced the big banks that own many of the second liens on these properties, i.e. the home equity lines of credit, that are really worthless now because so many of these homes are underwater and are worth far less than the outstanding balance on the mortgage. The government never forced these banks that own these loans to write them down, and so they had no incentive to want to modify these loans because they have a huge stake here in many of them, and they can't afford to write them down because it would really put a big hole in their balance sheets.
We're talking with Gretchen Morgenson, who writes for the New York Times, Pulitzer Prize winner, also co-author of the book Reckless Endangerment. I know last week the Federal Reserve put out a message saying we're going to keep interest rates at near zero through 2012, past the election into 2013. You spoke with the head of the Kansas City Fed, Thomas Honig, I believe is his name.
Yes.
Who, he's not exactly lock and step with Ben Bernanke these days. He thinks this is a bad move. Why so?
Well, he says, this really hasn't helped us. We've had this kind of a policy now for how long, since the crisis began. And although it did help us get out of the recession, we are really limping along economically. And there's only so much that zero interest rates can do. If people are still fearful, they are not going to lend, they're not going to borrow. And it has the also very disturbing and devastating effect of killing savers. I mean, people who are prudent and who want to invest in or living on a fixed income are absolutely hammered by this zero interest rate policy. They can't make a go of it. It's very, very difficult. So why punish those savers? That's a big problem.
Yeah, the $10 I make per month on my on my savings account or my money market account, really.
You're doing well at $10 a month.
Yeah. Can there be an economic recovery without the housing market coming back?
Well, the economic recovery in the traditional sense in this country has always been led by the consumer. And the unfortunate fact is that the consumer is still very heavily leveraged. What this country did was, and the government was right there helping, was encourage people to take on massive amounts of debt. And now we're paying it off. And it takes a long time because you can't just do that overnight. You see it in in countries in the past, but here we have a huge consumer problem being still over-leveraged even now, years after the crisis hit. So until the consumer has worked down these debts, you're really not going to have them in the mood to go spend again. And so the economy, if they're relying on the consumer, will be limping along for a very long time.
Last question. I believe there were 3 people who dissented on the decision to keep interest rates near zero through 2013. Is there any significance to that?
That's a very significant amount. Very kind of, this is an organization that likes the consensus, and nobody likes to be the person saying, or the skunk at the garden party, as it were. So we had 3 dissents, very unusual, hasn't happened since 1992. I think it conveys that there is a deep sense of unease on the board, and if you had, that did not even include Mr. Honig, who I spoke with, because he did not have a vote on the committee this year. So there's a lot of, I think, concern there on the board.
All right, Gretchen. Great to have you on the show again. We appreciate your time and your insights.
Thanks, Gretchen.
Thank you.
Gretchen Morgenson, author of the book Reckless Endangerment.